Okay. So my binder, I like to, I don't know, is everything backwards to you guys, or is that just me?
No, that's right.
So I label mine consultant records. I'm very organized, okay? I have binders for everything. So consultant records, and then I do have several tabs in my binder.
My mom bought me this.
Oh, here, kid.
That's Avery.
Okay. You guys are going to see something called the new consultant coaching checklist. So I would suggest you print off like 10 of these and keep them in your binder. That way you don't have to print them off when you get a new consultant, because this is going to have all their information that you put at the top, and all the information about your calls, you know, when you had your call, if you had that call, when their party dates are, all that kind of stuff. So I keep just a bunch of these in my binder so I can have them handy. I just stick them in like the front so that I can pull one out when I have a new recruit to train. Before I go into much more though, I do want to say it's really important that you guys have this set up now. I mean, I just want you guys to think about this. It's kind of like us when we coach our hosts, we're coaching our new team members. Like our hosts want to have a good party. Our team members don't sign up with a kit to just sit there and do nothing and not do well. They want success, right? So that's our job, to give them the success they're looking for. So to have this binder in place and have a system in place, you're going to give them the best success possible. And especially for those of you who are going to be listening to like me train your first couple people, or like Selena may listen to Robin train her first couple people, we want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable. So having this binder is going to make you feel comfortable training them too, because everything you need is in. You'll see on one of the things that you're going to print off, I'm going to go over it real quick, but it says Intro to Coaching New Consultants, and it has really some basic information about why we're doing this. So the new consultant training, why new consultants need this from us. They say there's 3 things they need from their leaders. So guidance, right? So they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do. So we're there to give them guidance on what to do. And then you're also looking for structured check-ins. So you want to make sure that you're checking in with them regularly to keep their spirit up, to make sure that they're doing well, to make sure they feel like they're successful. So make sure you're doing some kind of checkup. It doesn't have to be through phone. I mean, you can text, private message, email, just check in with them. And then you're also going to be the person there helping along the way. So everybody has some kind of obstacle that they need help with, and that's what we're here for, to help them through those moments. So they also go over 5 easy steps with your new team members. So number 1, and I think this is really important, and I'm glad they put this in here, make sure that you're keeping your conversations positive. A lot of times, and I'm sure you guys have heard it in coaching calls with the people I trained for you, or maybe you remember a conversation we had together, where maybe the conversation started to go negative because things are not going well, right? It's our job to point them into a positive direction. Because if we get off that phone call and they're in a negative direction, they're not going to do anything, they're not going to make any progress, they're not going to get the results they want, they're not going to reach the goals they want. So make sure that you somehow find a way to get them, you know, going up when you're done with that conversation. So positive information. We don't need to be complaining about things. We don't need to be, you know, agreeing with them and letting it go. We need to get them thinking, okay, how can I change this for something better? Make sure that you're reminding them of why they're doing this as much as possible. That's why we have their why. They have their goals. Everybody's going to be different that you coach. They all have their own personal goals, and that's fine. They're all doing it for different reasons. We want to help them reach their goals. So if we point them back to why they're doing this, they're going to get back on track and be motivated again. Make sure that you guys are brainstorming with them, not just telling them what to do. This has always been hard for me. I'm very like, do this. Oh my guys, you're like, yes, okay. So I don't mean to tell you what to do. It's just that's the way it comes across. But try and get to the point where you're getting them to think first. So try and ask questions first before you start telling them what to do. It's okay to give them ideas or to do this, but ask the questions. And I've heard you guys, I know you guys have heard me say these kinds of things to you before, but, you know, what are you going to do next? Or what's your plan? Or, you know, questions to get them thinking first. And then if they can't think of anything, then you can start leading them in the right direction. Hold them accountable. So they have their goals. They need somebody to help them keep on track. That's your job. Remind them of what their goals are and check in, you know. Hey, you said you wanted to have 2 parties. How'd that go? That kind of thing. And then make sure you're recognizing them. Okay, so not just like, okay, good, we have a booking. Next thing, it's oh my gosh, that's so awesome, because that really is, and they need motivation. Everybody's looking for some kind of recognition. I remember working and not getting recognized for my hard work for other people, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, so make a point to recognize them, whether that's you post on our team wall, you say something on the coaching call, make sure that you're uplifting them, okay? We're like their cheerleaders. Okay, so they do have a thing in here about time management, and I think this will be helpful for you guys, whether you're doing this with your coaching with your teams or even in your personal business. So I encourage you to go through and look at all of it, because this will help you to really manage your own personal business, whether that's your time for booking or how you're going to schedule your coaching calls. The time management thing is really big. I'm not going to go into all of it because it's all there. You can read through it, but I think it's very helpful, and it helps me to stay on track too. Okay. I'm going to show you how I have this organized. So I put my table of contents in front. So front paper, table of contents. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs. And each one of them, I like to have a little pocket in them. Okay. So they have a pocket in the front. And the reason for that is when I make a profile for somebody, so I take this new consultant checklist, I fill out their information. When I've had calls with them, I will take their checklist and I'll put it in the slot which call that we're going to do next. So say we're at the welcome call, I'm going to put it in the pocket for the welcome call. If we're on the first call, I'll put it in the pocket with the first call. So that way, when we get to our next call, I'll open it up and they'll be in that spot. That way it's all organized. You're going to see that in there, I included some scripts and then some stuff that home office gave us. I like scripts, okay? I like to be able to have the words. I mean, at this point, I've done it so much that I can kind of do it without looking at it, but I like scripts. The way home office has it set up, it's almost like a checklist, and you don't really know what to say. So you have both. You have their checklist, and then you have Stacy Itzel's words that she uses with coaching her new team members. So I gave you both, so you can put them together and look at both, okay? So the first tab, I have the welcome call. This one I do want to say, I have the script from home office for the welcome call. This one I say is more optional, okay? If you can do a welcome call with them, this is the one that you're going to do within 24 hours. Okay. So home office suggests you do like a welcome call. They sign up, you talk to them that day or like the next morning. Sometimes that doesn't happen. I think the more important call is the first call, and you can kind of combine the welcome with the first call. So if they can't talk to you within that first 24 hours, just combine the two, okay? Because really what's important is going to be your first call. But they have a welcome one, and this one you're going to say, hey, welcome to the call. This is what to expect. Keep an eye out for emails from home office. I'm going to send you an email about, hold on, what is the name of it? Your action plan. I'm going to send you an email with your action plan. I'm going to be your coach through this. I'm going to be coaching you through the whole thing. contact best information with them, and then direct them to their My Recipe for Success thing that they get in their kit. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay, so a little book. Make sure that they have that and don't lose it because that's really important. And then you're going to tell them how to get onto PC University and check out their getting started checklist. Now with you guys, I really didn't have to do, well, with Sherry, they haven't even introduced this training yet. Adrian, I really didn't get the chance to do the welcome call with you because we scheduled our call after the 24 hours. And you had already figured it all out. So you'll sometimes notice you don't have to do the welcome call. But I just did the welcome call with the new gal that just signed on there. And that's it. That's all you're saying. So it's going to take like 10 minutes. It's not going to take long. Then next up, you're going to have your tab for call 1. So again, I have pockets, so I can stick them. Once I'm done with my welcome call, I'll stick their profile information on call 1. And then when I schedule that call, I can pull it open, pull out their information, and go from there. So in here, make sure you put all of the welcome, or the first call, training call that home office gives you, and then the script that Stacy has. I think I gave you both. It'll say call 1 is the document. And call 1, it'll say first call within 24 to 48 hours of signing. This is the script I was talking about, and this gives you exactly what you need to say, right? So let's see if I can get a little closer. I don't know if you can see that. This is the one you're looking for, okay? So you'll have this one in your first call. And then you'll have, I know this is a lot, guys, but once you have it set up, you don't ever have to touch it again, okay? It's all set up and it's so easy. And then the other thing you'll have from home office, it'll say first coaching call checklist. That one, okay? So those two will go under the first call. So on the first call, you're going to get to know your victor. You may be lucky enough to actually know them already, but a lot of times you may not. So you're going to talk to them, get to know them, family, they have an occupation, all that kind of stuff, what their dreams are. This shouldn't take too long, though, because we don't want to take up a whole lot of time. So get to know them a little bit, and then you're going to move into why they are doing this. Why do they want to do this? What's their income goal? How will this impact your family? I mean, that kind of thing. Get them thinking along that line. You're also going to find out what their show goal is. So how many shows are they willing to hold a week? And I love the script that Stacy gives here, which she says if you had a bag of names of people that you wanted to have parties and you could have as many shows as you wanted, how many would you want? Because sometimes they go low because they want to meet their goals and then they don't think high enough or big enough. So we want them thinking outside the box of like, yes, I can do this. If I could do a whole bunch of shows, this is how many I'd be willing to do. And then you're going to talk about why they want to have at least 6 to 8 shows in their first 30 days, okay? And I go over that 1, we're doing this because this is how we train. If they don't have the shows, we can't train them. 2, it's just like a new job. We wouldn't expect you to come in, get training, and come back in 30 days and remember everything. They want you to come in a lot to get the training, to get comfortable, to get good at it. So that's what they're doing in the first 30 days. And then you're going to explain what the new consultant reward program and the signing bonus is. Okay, so this is your chance to tell them their 30 and 90-day date, which home office will email them, but I like to tell them again and explain why we have those. So you need the 6 to 8 parties because you also will get all those rewards. You'll get the signing bonus, get 100 PC dollars, and then talk about putting those in your calendar so that you can reach those goals. You're going to talk about, say if they already booked say they were a host and you signed them. You may skip this step, but I encourage them to do a launch party. Do you hear feedback, or is it just me?
A little bit.
I thought it was
It's
my
not bad,
phone,
though.
so I moved it, but it's not my phone. Hold on. Oh, an order's been added to my chest. Sorry. Okay, still echoing. I'm gonna mute you, Adrian. Hold on. Is that echoing? Is that better?
Mm,
I don't know. What about now? I think
Did you have us all muted?
I muted Selena and then I muted you and now I've muted Sherry and I think it's Sherry. I think it's something about me and then something's bouncing off behind you or something and coming back. So we're getting some kind of feedback. You can unmute yourself at any time. It's just, that was kind of confusing.
Poor Sherry.
She's not allowed to talk. Okay, so the next thing you're going to encourage them to do is to make, of those 6 to 8 parties, 2 launch parties. If they just hosted with you, it's kind of hard to tell them to have another party because they just had one. But say you sign somebody who didn't host, encourage them to do 2. The reason we say 2 is that if somebody can't come to one, they can come to the other one so that they get more people and get practice. So if they just hosted, just encourage them to maybe schedule a launch party in a couple months, but then right now focus on getting 6 shows with other friends, okay? Then you're gonna go over, home office will have already sent them an email about a launch list, but I like to give them the Franks list that I give you guys, and that's in the script too, to talk about the Franks list. Hopefully that helps them brainstorm more. You're gonna help them identify 10 people that they think of first, and you're gonna jot that down on their profile page. Hold on. So I even just take it on the back. So this is my new gal. I filled it out, and on the back, I just numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and put their names down. Okay. So you write down, brainstorm 10 names. This is good for people who maybe haven't pulled out their launch list like they're supposed to, and you can start helping them get some names. And then you're going to help them understand they need to write down next to them why you think they would want to host the party. And you're going to teach them some words to say, basic words. That's in the script too. So you can talk about, I'm so excited because I just started my favorite chef business. I thought of you right away because that ties into you brainstorming why they want to host a party. I have a really big goal for my first 30 days of booking 6 parties. And what do you think? Would you be able to grab a handful of friends and let me hold one of my practice shows with you? And explain why all of this is important. You know, you are excited. You want your friends to be excited. You don't want to be ho-hum about the whole experience. So make sure that they understand they need to show excitement. Make sure they're thinking about the fact that this isn't just about them. We're in the business of helping people. So why is this helping their friends? And then share your goals, because friends are willing to help with goals. You tell them a goal, they want to help you reach that, whether they host a party or direct you to somebody that will host a party with you. And then make it easy. So if you're just grabbing a handful of friends, and it's a practice show, you're helping me practice. You're then going to teach them how to book close. So you know how we talk about get a weekly calendar and book within the 2-week span? You're going to teach them about that, making sure that they have a weekly calendar, booking close, and give 2 options when asking people to book a party. And you're going to make sure they understand it's not a booking unless they date it, okay? You will find people who go, oh, I got a booking. Okay, what's the date? Oh, they haven't picked it yet. That's not a booking. It happens all the time. So it's a booking if they get a date and they can give you a date and a name. So make sure that they are offering 2 options that are booked in close and that they have that dated before they say they have a party. And then you're going to explain to them they're going to get no's and tell them it's okay. We don't want them to be disappointed. You know, a lot of the people that we're going to be signing have never run a business for themselves. You know, they've never, like, either a storefront kind of business, they've never owned a business, or they've never done something like direct sales. So they don't know what to expect, and we want them to feel comfortable. So they need to know they're going to get no's, and it's okay. It's nothing personal. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And there's a great script in there that you can use. And then teaching them to give options. So we don't have to do just virtual shows. They don't have to do just cooking shows. We have catalog shows. We have fundraisers. We have wedding registries. You know, explain to them there's options. And maybe somebody doesn't want to do a party because they don't want products, but maybe they want to do a fundraiser for somebody. Set your goal with them to book 6 parties by X date. Give the booking challenge. So if they book 6 parties, whether that's 4 parties with friends and 2 virtual shows or 2 launch parties, or if that's 6 shows with other people, if they can get 6 shows by the next time you talk, you're going to send them a door prize pack. So it's I just send 6 Season's Best cookbooks if they reach that goal within the time frame. And you can buy those in bulk, like the old edition ones, online in the supply cart. You're going to assign the homework. So they're going to make sure they take that booking course in PC University. You're going to make sure they're going through their getting started checklist. You're going to date the next call, which hopefully will be within 2 days. So they have 2 days to get those 6 bookings. And then you're going to tell them that you're going to send them an email. Now, after every single call, you're going to send them an email, you know, affirming, thank you so much for spending time on your business. Here's the date of our next call. And you're going to attach some kind of documentation with it that they need to look through. So the script Stacy has, I use. You are welcome to go through the one that says First Coaching Call Checklist with Home Office and see what they have. You'll even see they use the word Stacy has because it is Stacy's training. They just tweaked it and made it theirs. So whatever you feel comfortable with, if you want to use your own words, you can, but just follow their guideline of what you should be talking about on each call. Now, in the first call, you're going to see that I said to print off the documents that you're going to be sending them. I think it's important to see like what you're sending them. So you understand, you can reference it, so you know what they're going through, what they're doing. So I print off like their launch list, and I put it under the same tab for the first call. I print off their action list thing that they'll get emailed. I don't know what that's called, action plan for like rewards. I print that off. Yeah, it's their goal tracking sheet. So I print that off. I mean, I put it all in here so I know what they're looking at. So if they have a question about it, I can pull it up and reference it. So like, well, I got this, I don't understand. You know, you can walk them through it. Okay, any questions about first call or welcome call? Are we good? Okay. So the next tab, again, you're going to have the script from Stacy. This one's labeled second call. And it's going to say new consultant, strong start training PCU, 48 hours, so 2 days. So you're going to put that script in, and you're going to put in the one from home office, second coaching call checklist. And then in the back, you're going to be emailing these documents after you have this call. So telling your story, I have that. Fast track, right? This one's really important because if you're explaining fast track to them and you don't remember, you can pull this up and read the document to them. But you're going to email this to them after the call. and hosting 101, which they will also get. I think home office sends it to them. I think there's one more thing. Hold on. Okay, the host coaching monthly tracking. So this may look familiar. Host coaching monthly tracking, similar to what I have you guys do with tracking your names of your hosts and what happens kind of thing. But this one's for, like, what have I done? Have I sent the host packet? Have I set up the party event? That kind of thing. Okay, so on this one, so the first call is about bookings. That's what you need to focus on. So once you have the bookings, the next call is going to be about how do I host coach them? So you have the hosts, now what do I do? Now I want to preface this, if they haven't booked any parties, then you're going to get off the call. You're wasting your time. But you're not going to be mean about it, okay? So if they haven't booked anything, you're going to discuss what obstacles they come up with, like, you know, what happened, how many people did you reach out to? They said they only talked to 5 people. Oh, that's your problem. You know, talk about things they come up with, or maybe they're getting objections, you know, like, I'm just too busy. So give them some ideas of how to overcome that. And then you're going to say, now we set up this time, this 30-minute time together. We're going to go ahead and get off the call. So I know you've already set aside this time. I want you to take that time, and I want you to try and get some bookings. Okay? They already set aside the time to talk to you. They can easily take that time and make booking calls or texts. Now, if they did get bookings, whether they reached the goal or not, then you can continue with the training. Make sure you're celebrating again. It's the celebration thing, affirming they're doing a good job. You're going to help them set another goal for the next call. How many bookings do you want by the next time we talk? Find out what kind of parties they've booked. You're going to start keeping track of this too, and it's going to be on that new consultant coaching thing. If you look, I think it'll say party dates right there. So you're going to put their party dates on there so you can track when they're having parties. You're going to check on, so if they are doing the launch parties, check on their attendance, see how they're doing with inviting. And if they're getting a lot of no responses for bookings, then give them words. Say, hey, if you are getting no's, are you inviting them to your launch party? And if they say no, then you can teach them how to do that, which is like, well, that's okay. Would it be okay if I invited you to my launch party? I could still practice and you can check out what I'm doing. That way they're getting more people into the launch party and hopefully get bookings from that too. In this call, you're going to talk about the Fast Track program, how they can get an extra $2,000 in cash. And the script in here is fantastic that Stacy has. So talk about, you know, it's $2,000 in cash. You know, if you saw it on the table just laying there, would you ask how to get it, or would you just walk out of the room? So talk about the Fast Track program, how that works, and then say, I want you to start thinking about people you would want to do the business with. You know, I started the business with my sister. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but Sheena is on my team. She's my sister. So it's fun to do it with people you know and to start the business and learn together, and then explain, why don't you think about people maybe in the same situation as you, maybe they lost their job, maybe they need extra income, they love to cook, and start brainstorming that to see who would enjoy being on your team. And give them words, that's in there too. And then you're gonna go over like a short little thing about host coaching. It's not going to be much because they're going to be directed to PC University to watch host coaching courses. If you don't remember anything on PCU, go back and review it because it's nice to know what they're being told. That way you can reference it in the calls. So you're going to talk about why it's important that we're working with every host. They don't know what they're doing. We need to help them. They want a successful party, so it's our job to help them through that. And then give them like the very important things about host coaching, about how your #1 priority is to get guests. No guests, no party. Make sure your host is inviting with a variety of different social circles, and then also inviting with many different ways of invitation. So like email, paper invites, Facebook messages, text messages, not just relying on one form of invitation. And then make sure they understand not to rely on Facebook, which is especially true because of this week. Are you unblocked yet, Adrian?
I don't think so. I didn't check today.
I stayed off. I did not message anybody that I was not friends with or hadn't had a previous conversation with yesterday. So I just stayed away from it. I only messaged people that I was friends with and had an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
And I was unblocked today. So
Oh, I should check when we get done.
yeah. And I messaged people right after that on parties that I was supposed to message a week ago because I couldn't, and I booked a party. So yeah.
Oh, yay.
So yes, don't rely on Facebook. It's awesome, but it will fail you. So make sure you explain that to them. Like, it's a great resource, but please use paper invites or emails or something else, and encourage your hosts to at least use two forms, Facebook and something else. Okay. You're going to tell them that you're going to help them work out sharing their story, making their story, and you're going to email them a little document to answer questions, and then you want them to email that back to you so you can review it and give them a short and condensed version of it. So sometimes you may get one that's perfect, which does happen often, and you don't really have to do anything. Sometimes you get ones where they kind of miss the point, so you want to go through and help them come up with something that's a good story about themselves. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. This is not like an official call or anything. I'm sorry. My husband wanted to know if he could have the recliner and he should have bought ice cream. Sorry. Okay, so after you've talked about your story, that you need to have your story in your party because it helps you connect with guests, create interest about the business, but makes them feel more comfortable with you to host parties. Then you're going to assign homework again. So every time you're assigning some kind of homework, because again, these people don't know how to run a business. Okay, so we understand there's steps we need to take every day to get the results we want. They don't know what the next step is. So we're going to assign homework so they know what they need to do next. So you're going to assign them to go through their getting started checklist for the first 72 hours, write down their story, and email it back to you. You're going to direct them to the host coaching course on PC University. There's a lesson about making the most of your cooking parties. I mean, it's all on there, but you're going to give them that information, and then make sure that they're filling out a host coaching checklist for their hosts so that they're remembering what they've done, sending out a host packet, making a Facebook event, sending out invitations, that kind of stuff. If they're close, I do schedule some kind of observation party where they can come observe me do a cooking show if I'm doing one. If they're not close, I'm sorry, but they'll have to go and watch the one of Stacy. Sometimes, just so you guys know, sometimes they do have hospitality directors close to your consultants, and sometimes they don't. So, like with Adrian and Sherry, I'm sorry, I've been trying to find one, but sometimes you don't have one. So that just means you'll be the hospitality director in your area. So you set a time to talk, and this one will be before their first party. So a couple of days before their first show. Sorry.
Why can't anything ever be easy?
You just took out the rice cooker and he dropped half of it and it made a mess. Okay. That was really loud. Okay. So set up your call to be 2 to 3 days before the first party. You're going to email them again, the host coaching checklist, host coaching 101, telling your story. All that information is on there. Okay, any questions on any of that? Very good. You guys are getting the show too. Now the refrigerator's speeding him up. Okay. So, tab 3, call 3. Okay, so you're going to have the one that says 2 to 3 days before their first party. This is the third call document. This is Stacy's script. And then, of course, you'll have the one from home office, which is, what is it called? It's probably just third training call. Third coaching call checklist, that one from home office. It's really tiny. Okay, so the third call is going to be talking about your, the party. What's the party supposed to be like? Making sure that they're doing specific things at every single party, whether virtual or cooking. Now with Stacy's outline, she talks about cooking shows in this. It's exactly the same as a virtual show, okay? So they may talk about in here the station cooking portion. You're going to say, if you're at a cooking show, this is where we would have the station portion cooking, but if it was a virtual show, this is when you're going to talk about the products, the videos, your show recipes. Okay, so it's just exactly the same, just the virtual world, okay? So for this one, again, you're going to check on their bookings, how they're doing with their booking goals, see if they need help with overcoming some kind of booking objection, check on attendance for any launch parties if they are doing them. If they do have any potential recruits, you're going to help them with that, inviting them to like the opportunity events, that kind of stuff. But then you're also going to check out and see if they are interested in the fast track program. If they are interested in that, you guys let me know so that they can be added to those trainings. Right? If they have an interest, we want to make sure they get the training for it. Now, not everybody's going to be wanting to do fast track, and that's fine. But we do want to train them to understand that part of our job is to offer 3 things: products to buy, hosting to save money, and the business. And if they don't know that information, they can't take advantage of it. And it's not fair to keep that information to yourself if they need one of those. Okay? So we're training them. That's just what we do. Okay? So we offer products, duh. We talk about hosting, and then we talk about the business, okay? So you're going to talk about if they're feeling excited about their parties, if they need help with anything at this point before, because it's 2 to 3 days before. You know, are you nervous about something? Can I help you with anything? Are you lost about something? See if they had any questions about like observing Stacy's videos, that kind of thing. You're going to just go through all of that, and then you're going to teach them about the fine points. It says in here in her script cooking shows, but it's also the fine points, like I said, of virtual shows. Her script at the beginning is perfect. I would recommend using that for a while because it talks about what I just said. You know, every consultant is looking for 3 things: the sales, the bookings, and the recruit leads. So it talks about that, and why we do what we do is important. Making sure you're connecting with your guests. She talks about that, how you would do that at a cooking show. And we know, since we are virtual pros, we do that with the games that we have, right? So like, how do you know the host? And what's your favorite recipe? Or those kinds of things. So you're getting to know them virtually. You're going to have some kind of opening where you introduce yourself. You're going to thank the host at some point in the party. Again, virtual, you can do it whenever. But as long as you're doing these things, you're going to get the same results. Station cooking, like I said, you're going to be talking about the products. And make sure you tell them they have to have something about power tools in their scripts, whether at shows, cooking shows, or virtual shows. That's how they get bookings. That's how they get recruit leads. People book to get power tools because a lot of people can't afford to buy it full price, okay? Not unless you're in a rich neighborhood. So if they want that grill pan, they're going to book a party. Plus, honestly, they really are some of the big reasons why people head to Pampered Chef, because they like our cookware and knives. You're going to have the time for shop and share. So talking about getting people to share what products they like. This kind of ties into your host coaching. So you know how we give them posts about The host will say, I'm making my wish list. What's your favorite product? You're getting your host to do that for you. It's kind of the same thing that you would do at a cooking show, saying, share your favorite product and why you like it. So they start selling to each other. You'll have a booking commercial. So cooking shows, you have your booking commercials. Virtual shows, you have like a post a day about booking or benefits of booking. You're going to talk about the recruiting commercial. You're going to talk about your close. So if it's a virtual show, your close would be, this is how you order. You know, press this link, you have to get in by this date. This is how you do shipping, those kinds of things. If it's a cooking class, it would be like, hey, I'm going to check you out one at a time. If you have any questions, let me know. This is what we're going to do at checkout, kind of thing. So you're kind of doing the same thing. Again, we go over the same stuff in both. And checkout chat. So she talks about in her script how you do that at cooking shows. I explain that to people whether they say they want to be virtual only or not, because a lot of people who say they want to be virtual tend to try cooking shows. So they need to know this information. And then we explain how you do that with virtual shows, which you guys know. You check in with the people who clicked going and maybe and that kind of stuff. Again, assign homework. So you're going to talk about the show binders I have you guys create with the host special, guest special, deconstructed catalog, theme shows if you're doing a cooking party, the recruiting promotion. You're going to talk about sending them the Q&A, commonly asked questions about the business. So you're going to send that document after. So yeah, all that assigned homework is on there, but that's the point where you're going to be talking about the Q&A and they want that information. And I do have, let's see. If they're doing a cooking show, I encourage them to use these, the show outline cards. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we used to have to write it down on like an index card, and we take our index cards with us. Now they have it all printed out. It comes in their kit. So if they don't feel comfortable just memorizing everything and doing it, which most people don't, tell them it's okay. Everybody started out with a flashcard, and encourage them to use the show outline card so they stay on track, they don't take too long, everybody has a fun time, and make sure they go over everything that we just talked about. You know, they have their welcome, they have their shop and share, they have, I mean, every single part. Let's see. Yeah, I do print off the commonly asked questions and put it under this tab too. So underneath of the third call, I have the Q&A, ticket activity, commonly asked questions printed off. Any questions about that one? Okay. Okay, so the next one, call for, you do have a tab for that one. So this one will be after their first show. So this one is after first show script. And it should say fourth call is the document name. And I think Pampered Chef has the same thing. Hold on. Fourth coaching call after their first party is that one. Really tiny. Okay. So these you're going to start doing after their first party and then after that. We call it show-based coaching. So you can find out what they're doing at their parties, if you can direct them to do something better or how to do something differently. So this fourth call you're going to do after their first show, congratulate them on doing their first party, and ask a whole bunch of questions. So there's a whole bunch of questions on here that you can go through. You may not get through all of them, but it's good starting point. So get them talking. Did you have fun? What went well? What do you want to do differently? Did the guests enjoy the party? How long did the show last if it was a cooking show? That's really important. If it went for 2 hours, they have a problem and we need to work on that. What would you change in your show for the next time? How many guests were there? What products did they seem to like the most? And you can, if this is a cooking show, you're going to say like things like who shared the most throughout the party and who asked the most questions. If it's a virtual show, you can go into, did anybody ask any questions on the Q&A? Did anybody comment on the hosting posts? So that you can get them to start thinking about, well, if they ask a Q&A question, I can message them and say, hey, did you have more questions about the business? Okay, so then you're also going to talk about bookings. Did they get any bookings? Yes, no. If they didn't get any bookings, you need to talk to them about how they can get bookings at their next show. Again, this is you helping them to figure out what to do next time, because they're not going to get it perfectly. Nobody does. They're learning, and that's why we're doing the coaching with them. You're going to, again, set goals for them at the end of every call. How many bookings do you want to get? How many people are you going to reach out to? And then once you've gone through all of that, you're going to introduce them on this fourth call about how their new consultant rewards is going, like how do you calculate that? But then you're going to go into like customer care. So you know how I taught you guys like the 2x2x2 system. You're going to talk to them about how they do customer care with virtual shows where you private message people, see if they have questions about products, they have for orders, see if they want to post, see if they wanted more information about the business. Making sure they've opted into the e-newsletter. A lot of people don't know this, so make sure you go over that on this one. You're going to teach them how to start filling out show trackers. So again, this one should look familiar. This one, yes. So I do print off a whole bunch of these and stick it in this section. Okay, so I print off a whole bunch of trackers, monthly trackers. Hold on. Pardon me, the dog has to go to the bathroom. Talk amongst yourselves.
You muted Sherry. We can't talk to her.
I know. No one's talking. Okay, I can watch them from here. So yeah, I print off a whole bunch of those and put them in there so that I can just grab one to add to their checklist and keep track with them. So I put in the month for their party, the year, and then their name in the top so I know whose tracker it is. So yeah, you're going to go over how they track their shows, why that's important. You know, they need to make sure they're tracking their shows so we know what we need to train on. They could be great at booking parties, but they could be terrible at getting sales. So we got to figure out where they need the most help, and that's where we're going to coach them on. It also helps them to see how many shows they have. So I find when they just look in the system at like shows and orders, it's not as impactful, but if they write it down and go, oh my gosh, I only have 2 bookings, you know, like that motivates them to get more. Let's see. Okay, so the rest of that you should be able to see, like assign your homework, email them the recruiting scavenger hunt, which I tried to print mine off, but it didn't print right. That was a long time ago, but it's this one. Recruit lead scavenger hunt, the one that has all the names at the bottom. That's really glary. Yeah. If you look at it, it's supposed to have circles at the top. Mine did not print for some reason, but you're going to email them that too and tell them what it is, because they're going to start thinking about people who they think would be a good addition to the team, who would be good at Pampered Chef. And make sure they understand they don't have to do this alone. If somebody's interested, and I know you guys have heard me tell you this too, you can do like a 3-way private message with me. You can even just message me questions. How should I respond? We can set up a 3-way call. You guys don't even have to do this right away. You can set it up with me until you feel comfortable. But that way they understand they don't have to have all the answers. That's what we're here for. I think what else? Okay, so that's the next tab. Any questions on that one? Okay. So the next tab is just going to say 30 days. All right. So this is anybody in their 30 days. And you're just going to have one script in it. Says new consultants, show-based coaching is Stacy's thing. And I think home office has one that looks similar to what she has. I'm giving you both, like I said, because I prefer Stacy's, but maybe you'll feel comfortable with what home office has done with her script. So there's this one. Ongoing coaching, that one, 30 days. And they also have one for 90-day coaching as well, but we'll get to that in a second. So in here, you're going to make sure you do the same thing you did before with the last one. See how their show went. So you're going to schedule these calls to coincide with when they close their parties, or just had a party. So say it was a cooking show, you're going to schedule it for the day after they've had a cooking show. If a virtual show, you would do it the day that they close or the day after they close, or however close you can get it to that. Because sometimes that means the weekend and you don't want to talk on the weekend, so that Monday or something. You're going to see how the party went, what they liked about it, what they need help with, have they done their customer follow-up. I mean, you're going to go through all that kind of stuff so they get in the habit of thinking about what can I do differently in the party? How can I get better in this? Thinking about, okay, I don't have enough bookings. What should I do next? Kind of thing. So that they're starting to do it on their own as you coach them through it. And if they do need help, you can give them suggestions on things from there. So this one's great, I think, it's part of Stacy's, and it's like a 5 thing that they have. So learn more about your consultant situation. So start asking questions, again, to see what's going on, what they need help with, and maybe they can figure it out on their own. And sometimes they do. So you say, how'd that go? And they say, well, it didn't go great, but I think the next time I'm going to do this, or I forgot to do that. And so they know what they did, and they talk through it. If they don't say that they have come up with their own thing, then you're going to ask your consultant for their ideas. So what comes to mind for you to get better results? Or, how do you think you'd handle that the next time? If they can't think of anything, or if they still think of something, but you think that there's more ideas, offer up things that have worked for you. And then have them pick something they're going to implement, or give them like a challenge. Why don't you do these things? So maybe they came up with an idea, and then you had an idea, and you say, why don't you do both of these by X date and tell me about it? So you guys, I've done this with you before, where you say, well, I need to make contacts. Okay, well, how many do you want to make? And then you say, okay, you do those 5 today, and then email me or message me. And then set up a follow-up date for them to see how they're going with all of that. They do have a 90-day coaching thing. This is to help them reach their goals in their 90 days. Okay, so they want to get a lot of PC bucks. They all do. So we want to help them reach that. And then sometimes they do want the fast track, so we want to help them reach that too. So there is a good coaching in there for after their 90 days. And then after their 90 days, I do have a tab here, right here, and it says not yet qualified on it. There's no script with it. It just says not qualified yet. So if they're after 90 days, they still haven't submitted 1,250, they go in here. I have all their information, and I keep checking in with them, but at that point, it's going to be like a check-in 1 to 2 times a month to see how they're doing. Can I help you? Do you need help from me with anything? I want to help you with your business. Because those are the people that maybe are not willing to do the work. They expect it to come to them sometimes. And so you want to let them know you're still there to help, but you don't want to spend all your time with them. You want to spend your time with the people who are doing the work so you can help them. And when these people who are not yet qualified say, yes, I'm ready to take my business to the next level, you're going to work with them like you did before. Now the last tab, you're welcome to use this tab, just one tab, or you can do it the way I'm going to show you here in a minute. But once they've qualified, I put them under this next tab or in alphabetical order. I actually went and got little alphabet tabs, A, B, C, D tabs. And once they've qualified, I put them in alphabetical order in there so I can find them and find all their information, every conversation we've ever had. That way it's all there at my fingertips. And you know what their goals are so that I can remember what they're aiming for and keep that in front of me. So you can either do the alphabet type of thing that I did, or you can just use that last tab that I told you, the 7th one, and just put everything after that. And the only other thing I think is this. You read that touch point guide. Print this off. I keep it in the front of the binder so I can look at it, reference it, because home office is going to be sending them emails for like a year, okay? They're going to send them a lot of emails in their first 30 days, several emails in their 90 days. They are going to send them emails in their first 12 months as well, but not quite as many. But all of that is on here. So it tells you they're going to get a welcome to Pampered Chef email as soon as they sign up. They're going to get a email on their next day, so day 1. They're going to get an email about booking their first parties. 3 days after signing, they're going to get introduced to host coaching. So it kind of coincides with when we're going to be calling them to explain these topics and then directing them to these emails. That email should have told you to check out this PC University training. And it's also good to know, like I said, what they're getting, because they're going to get a lot of information, and it's good to reference what home office is offering them, which is really good training. They did not do this like a couple months ago. Like, this is new, all these emails. So make sure you know what's going on with these. So I keep that in the front so I can reference, oh, did you get this email? Okay, in that email, they're going to direct you to the booking course on PC University. All right, any questions on any of that? I hope it made sense. It's hard to see it on a screen.
It'll be easier too once I have everything printed.
Yes, I'm sure you're like, that sounds familiar, but I don't really know what you're talking about.
Well, I had part of it printed, so I had the stuff from home office, but none of it from Stacy yet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, you can just go from home offices if you want to, but they took this from Stacy, okay?
Yeah.
Everything you see from home office, they found out Stacy was doing this, and that's why her consultants were so successful and why our organization is the fastest growing. They figured it out. She had a training in place. So they took that and tried to make it their version of it, but they left out her script, I think. It was very well organized. So do what you want with both of them, but they both cover the same stuff. If you don't want to use her script, home office has like bullet points for you to follow. Okay, I think that's it. If you guys don't have any questions for me, then I think we're done. Robin, are you still there?
I am, but you're muted because I have a house full.
Oh, okay. Hold on just a second.